I would say this, like, I would love I would love to be in a place where I had the option to um, just do music and be making it by. But my wife and I were starting to invest, like in real estate and
Hmm.
do a bunch of stuff like that. And that's kind of the stuff that I want to that's the stuff that I want to build and um, I don't want to say this like it's not like, oh, I'm going to stop making music or I'm
Yeah.
not taking it as seriously. I'm still pushing and I'm still grinding as if music was, going to be that thing that's going to be full time.
Yeah.
But in my heart and in my mind, it's like I'm 100% okay if it doesn't because
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sip&Awe, where God puts you on awesome. I'm your host, Brandon Windsor, and welcome to the show. Before we get into anything, y'all, it is time for the sippy. All right, put your mugs in the air. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Lord, for the day that He has made for you and me. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Guys, today's episode is with none other than hip-hop artist Tre'Gadd. June is filled with hip-hop artists. Last week we had Derek Minor, and this week it's going to be with Tre'Gadd. First off, I discovered Trey. It was recommended to me on Spotify, and his song, of course, came on. And I blasted it, and my life was forever changed. And so whenever I started the podcast, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to hit Trey up. And praise God, he responded back, and it changed my life. And so we've been going back and forth for a couple months, but finally we were able to find some time to get together. So Trey, your time with me truly blessed me. And so, guys, I just pray that you're blessed with my time with Trey. And so he's going to be with us today and Friday. And so, guys, I'm just so excited. Let's get in there and let's meet my buddy, Trey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have none other than Tre'Gadd on the show. What's up, Trey?
what up, what up? How you
Man,
doing?
how are you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Got up, got some breakfast, chill Saturday, you know what I mean? Chill. Good.
Let's go. Hey, are you a breakfast guy? Can you eat breakfast any time of the day?
Not really. I'm not really a breakfast fan.
Really?
Like, yeah, when we were kids, they used to do the whole like breakfast for dinner, and that was my least favorite meal.
Yeah, we did that one time, and that was probably one of the best dinners that I've had because breakfast is
All my
awesome.
all my family loved it, but I wasn't a fan of it. But
Okay.
right now we going to the gym and trying to gain some pounds, so I'm eating breakfast
Yeah,
regardless if I want to or not.
right on. Yeah, so me and my wife, we started going to the gym too. We're doing smoothies because our diet
Smoothie,
wasn't the best, and so just to kind of be a little bit more healthier, we're starting to do vegetables for dinner and smoothies for breakfast.
smoothies
So
are
that,
good. I can down those a lot easier.
dude, so good. Yeah, so dude, I'm so curious. Have you been saved for your entire life? Did you get saved later in life? Tell me about your story, man.
Yeah, dude. So I've been saved pretty much my whole life. I grew up in the church, um, and when I was in probably a middle school is when I remember giving my life to Christ,
Okay.
and from there it's been like a rocky up and down road. Um, but God's been involved in my life for my whole life.
Yeah. And when did you start rapping?
Started rapping probably like ninth grade. I want to say I did like my first rap,
Cool.
and I probably started taking it more seriously like 11th grade
Cool.
because I would just write. So we had a coffee house for this youth group I was going to.
Right on.
And are you able to hear me fine, by the way?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool. Because I forgot to set up the microphone and everything, so I'm
It's okay.
just we're good. But what was I just saying?
Yeah, you did like a rap at a coffee house.
Oh
It was
yeah.
11th
So
grade, yeah.
yeah, so this coffee house, they would take all the youth students to um like a summer camp every year. And the way that they would raise money to do that is they would do a coffee house where everybody would come. It was basically like a talent show kind of thing where everybody would come do something. They'll do skits. People would come sing. People would They would make like choreographed dances, and then like the church and people that that could come out, they would come out and they would take donations, and that's how they would raise money for it. So every year, for like the first maybe like 3 years, and I'm pretty sure all the videos are on YouTube still. I would just write a rap just for that. I wouldn't
Cool.
write. It wasn't like I was making music, but I would just make a rap just for the coffee house. And then at the last coffee house I did, I remember just having this I don't know, it's just like a desire. I was like, I want to hear like my own voice like on a track, like and be able to listen
Yeah.
to it. Because I would just go on YouTube and find a beat, and then uh I'll write to it, and I'll just keep singing it over and over and over again until I memorized it, and then I'll go perform it. But I never recorded it. I'll just memorize it over the beat. So then I was like, yeah, I want to hear my voice on a track and make a song. So then I was telling my mom about that. And I remember my mom saying like, she's like, if you wanted to do this, we'd support you. And that was like maybe like the first year I did it, and I was like, okay,
Man,
cool, whatever.
that's cool. That's
Um,
that's so important. Your mom
yeah.
supporting it. Yeah.
So I had this little HP laptop. I had those little water speakers,
Right on.
like the speakers that dance when you play
Yeah.
music. And I had this desk, like this school desk, or not like a school desk, but like a little workstation desk. And we had extra mattresses in the house, like twin size mattresses. So I'll put two twin mattresses on both sides of the like the desk, and then put like a blanket over it, and I'll go in there and not rap off
Dude.
Mac. And that was my studio when I started, bro. That's where I started at. A lot of those mattress studio tracks are still on SoundCloud from back in the day. It's
Wow.
cool. It's cool to go back and like see all that stuff.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I'm curious. So, what was it like just like having that very first moment that you're being recognized? Maybe it was a song that got over 1,000 plays. Maybe it was doing like a local show, but people actually knew the lyrics to your songs. Tell me like the one moment you started to realize like, oh my gosh, people are starting to recognize my music.
You know, I feel like there's never like if it happens right, in my opinion, there's never like a moment where I was like, it just like all of a sudden like a switch flipped and
Mhm.
everything was changed, and I was like, oh, people know my music and people are listening to my music. It happened so progressively that I almost didn't really see it, which also
Mm.
kind of became like an issue that guy had to work on in my heart, because he had taken me so far. He had elevated me so much in my music that, um, and it happened so progressively. And I had so many up and downs in the midst of making music and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I'll be like, dang, like, like I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like I'm doing this and this is nothing's happening. But then I was able to like I look back and I remember God just showing me, you know, there's proof in numbers. So he was showing me the numbers, and it's just like, you got a song with 1 million streams, you got over 50,000 people, monthly listeners listening to you. Every time you post a song, people are listening to it. And most importantly, you have people like I have people reaching out to me telling me that, oh, this song really helped me through this, or I really like this
Wow.
song because it helped me through this. And
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? It's all about that. So I would say that's kind of more of my aha moment when I realized, oh, God is using my
Yeah.
music. God, this music is touching people. Because when you get too caught up in, oh, when I dropped the song the last time, and in a week it was at 10,000 streams, and I dropped the song this time, and this time it's only at 5. When you start getting into that mindset, then you start thinking, you're not growing or you're not falling off. But then as a Christian artist, it's like, where's your heart at? You know what I
Yeah, for
mean?
sure.
All that. Because
Yeah.
there's two sides. There's the business side of Christian music, and then there's the ministry side of Christian music.
Mhm.
And I've heard multiple people say they kind of have to be separate, because you can't be super business. They go together, they complement each other, but
Right.
it's like, I got a family, I got a mortgage payment, I got car, you know what I mean? I got stuff, I got bills to pay.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, fly out to California and come do this show and we'll give you some cheeseburgers. It's like, I probably can't make that happen. And it's not because I'm a bad Christian, it's
Yeah.
because I actually still need to provide for my family, and uh That's just how it is, dude. That's how it is. But I would say that that's like my aha moment when I remember that moment specifically when God like just kind of gave me that, like, I'm doing stuff with your music.
Yeah.
Just just keep trusting in me and let me grow it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Because I'm kind of in the same boat where this podcast is still fairly small, and so I was really focused on the numbers, and I noticed that some episodes would do way better than others. And I kind of got discouraged, and so at the 6 month mark, I kind of like had that moment like, oh my gosh, like I have to film. Like I didn't feel like really like I wanted to do it.
Right.
But I think moments like when you don't really feel like it, but you push through and you still do it, that's what matters. Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't really be doing it for the numbers. Yes, numbers matter. Yes, we want to make an impact. And I think, of course, if your heart's right, numbers are okay because you want to reach people rather than just become famous and be popular.
Yeah.
But I've kind of felt in that too, where I got discouraged because I wasn't quote unquote growing. But then I start going to church, and people are like, "Dude, I heard you started a podcast. Like, I'm so proud of you. It's really good content." And then I go on my app, Buzzsprout, and I see people are streaming from outside of the United States. I'm like, "Whoa, this is huge!" And
Yeah,
so
dude.
I'm already reaching the world, slowly but surely. And so, and being realistic, things like this take time. You got to grow them. You got to work at it. Like Dr. Dre didn't become Dr. Dre overnight. Like he had to work for it, right? And so, I love this process because I can't wait till when the podcast is big, and I can't wait till you're super big that you can look back and it's like, wow, I remember when I only had 5,000 streams on my songs, but now I have millions.
Yeah.
So is this rap thing? Is this your end goal? Do you want to become to a place where it pays the bills full time? You're touring with Lecrae and all these people, or yeah, is that something you want to do?
That's a I feel like that's a fun question in this season that I'm in right now because my whole life that's what my goal was. My whole life was I want to be a Christian rapper and I want to be a full-time Christian rapper and that's the only thing that I want to do and that's where I want to get all of my, finances from and everything. Um and like I've been doing this for a while, man. Like I started this when I was a kid. So
Mhm.
I'm 26 years old now and I love making music. I love making music.
Yeah,
But I got a family now. I got a wife. I got a baby. You know what I
yeah,
mean? A lot of stuff has changed. Um, so I wouldn't say. I would say this. Like I would love. I would love to be in a place where I had the option to um, just do music and be making it by. But my wife and I were starting to invest, like in real estate and
hmm,
do a bunch of stuff like that. And that's kind of the stuff that I want to that's the stuff that I want to build and um I don't want to say this like it's not like oh I'm going to stop making music or I'm
yeah,
not taking it as seriously. I'm still pushing and I'm still grinding as if music was, going to be that thing that's going to be full time.
yeah.
But in my heart and in my mind, it's like I'm 100% okay if it doesn't.
Hey guys, I wanted to stop real quick and say thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I want to challenge you with something. If you know someone in your life that you know that they would like this episode, stop what you're doing and send it their way so that we can keep growing the Sip&Awe family. All right, thank you for sharing, and let's get back to the episode.
Because what me and my wife are building together
Mm,
has longevity to give my kids wealth and my kids wealth. You know what I mean? We're
that's
building
so
something
good.
that's a
Yeah,
lot deeper. I can't pass down my music to my
yeah,
kids. So I guess you could be like, oh, you can take my all the stream revenue, but it's not generational. It's not generational wealth. So I really music right now is like I'm still striving for it to be that full time thing,
hmm,
but it's like I'm okay with whatever direction God takes me in it. Like
right on.
I'm working my field and he's doing what he do on his
Yeah,
side. So whatever happens. But the crazy thing is, I feel like ever since I've been kind of in that place,
yeah,
I've seen more growth and I've seen more opportunity
cool.
open up since that's happened. So that's cool too.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so curious. How do you stay faithful to the Lord as a musician? Because I don't know, like I not that I assume that the music industry is bad, but like you're in the grind. How do you stay faithful? How do you keep feeding your relationship with Jesus in the music industry?
I think it's. I don't really think it has anything to do with the music industry. I think it has everything to do with um like what you're doing in your
Mm,
personal time, like how
I
you're
like that.
personally Lord. Because
Right.
I'm not saying like, I mean, you can be a Christian rapper that, or a rapper or whatever, or a musician that has got it all figured out and has everything, together and has all the money and all the listeners and all the streams, but your relationship with the Lord could still be horrible. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because you're not in time. Like I said earlier, there's that business side and that ministry side. And I think in the same side, on that ministry side, well, actually, not really. It's both. Like if God's not in business and the ministry side, and you're just kind of like leaning towards one, the one that's working or whatever,
Mhm.
then your relationship with the Lord is not going to be good. You're probably not going to be faithful. But
That's so good.
I think it all depends on, I've met a lot of dudes in the music industry, and I've seen in the Christian music industry specifically, and I've seen a lot. Like I've seen people that are on fire for the Lord genuinely, and then I've seen people that I was like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I was not expecting to hear that come out your mouth or see you do this or whatever. So, um, I think it's just all has to do with, are you still prioritizing, your relationship and your secret place with the Lord in the midst
Yes.
of all the busyness of the music, all the opportunity, all the growth, all the, the fans and it all, because you can have a million fans, and you could be making millions of dollars a year, and you can still be a good Christian. You can still be on fire for the Lord. That doesn't make you not a good Christian or not on fire for the Lord. But
Yeah.
if your secret place with Him is not genuine, and your secret place with Him is not pure, then all that stuff that you're getting, I would say, isn't genuine or pure either.
Mm. Trey, that ministered to me because I've been going through a season realizing that God is a God of secrecy, meaning seek him, Psalm 91, seek him in the secret place. He who
Yes, sir.
dwells, not visits, not just checks in, he who dwells, he who abides in the secret place. And then in Matthew 5, Jesus says, whenever you do these things, pray and fast, or good deeds, do those things in secret.
Yeah.
And so we as Christians need to prioritize our secret time with the Lord.
Right.
And today I see it too that people, um, I don't know if boast is the right word, but they say, "Oh, do I pray so much? I do all these good things." And just in my heart, it's like, "Hey, be careful," because the Bible says, "Do those things in secret." I think it's
Right.
beautiful that you're doing those things, but seeking the Lord in secrecy is the most beautiful life that we can live. And I'm just so passionate about living a life of integrity because who we are alone is who we are. And it's really easy to pretend. You can go to a show and present yourself as a really good Christian or a really good guy, but then at home, your home life is terrible. But at the end of the day, it gets really exhausting because I used to do that. I used to um, not really have the best Christian life, but I was in ministry, and then the Lord corrected me. And so living a life of secrecy is beautiful, Trey. And
Yeah.
I can tell that you do that well because I can tell that's a priority. Um, yeah. So, what's
Yeah.
it like?
Especially.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially in this time with social media and content and stuff, it's almost like a different level because everybody is trying to make content out of everything. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
People are trying to make content out of, their prayer life and how to pray and how not to pray and how, but it's like, dude, you're like, and this is probably the reason why this is probably why I don't grow as fast as, other artists do. And it's not downing on other artists, but I'm not super duper duper consistent with my content. Because I'll get like in a flow where I'm making music, I got my content together and I'm posting.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, now I feel like I'm like force posting, you know what I mean? Almost like force feeding. Like
Hmm.
I don't really feel like doing this, but I'm doing it because I have to, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
to get the content out. I have to be consistent. And I just hate feeling like that. It don't feel like right. I feel like if the Lord wants to, like, I feel like if the Lord wants to bless something or elevate something, obviously you need to work your field. You need to do your part. It's gonna take two to tango. Like it's not like you're just gonna drop a song and then you don't do no promotion or nothing, and then it just blows up. I mean, it could,
Yeah.
but that's the mindset you should have. It says to
Yeah.
work your own Bible. So
Yeah. So two
yeah,
things
dude.
that you said. I have a bone to pick when people post videos on Instagram of them praying. So one, I do think it can help somebody. I honestly do. I do believe that God can use it and someone who's not saved or who's barely saved and like, oh, that's really cool. I could pray like that. But also like it's when people just like put the phone down and then press record and they just start praying. I just find that so cringy. I don't really like that at all.
I'm not gonna lie,
Um
dude. I'm not gonna lie. I it can be kind of cringy to watch. It
yeah.
can, but I know for a fact that like there's some people. And this is actually real quick. This is something that the Lord taught me in like the last month or two ago. So I had a friend come up, and he was supposed to be staying with us, and he was with us for like a short amount of time. But we went to together. We went to a Christian rap concert when he was here. We
Cool.
went to my mother's church in Baltimore, um, and just a couple other things that happened during that weekend. I think he came to our church for Good Friday, and but for the Christian rap concert and for my mother's church, at the Christian rap concert, it was like a festival style type Christian rap concert. So it was very very long. It was super awesome though, and I connected with the dude that was running it and whatnot. Um, but the sets, because it's a bunch of artists that you're not really familiar with, so the sets were very very long. So
Right.
then like after like 15 minutes into the set, it's kind of like, all right, I'm ready to see the next artist, because you don't know the words to the
Yeah,
songs,
yeah,
or
yeah.
so it just felt long. But at the end of the concert, one of the dudes, one of the rappers that performed there that night, spoke to my friend. He was going through a lot of stuff at the time, but he spoke to my friend, and the artist ended up praying for him, and he just had like he had just had a moment there, and God showed me there. It was like God showed me there how, like, even in a Christian rap concert, even if it's not like ministering to you, it could be ministering to somebody else, because not
Absolutely.
everything is for us. You know what I mean? Not
Absolutely.
every prayer is for us. And sometimes as human beings, we tend to walk into every situation or walk into any, church event like, how is this going to minister to me? You know what I mean? When it might not minister to you. And we went to my
Absolutely.
and I remember like, dang, this word is kind of boring. I ain't gonna lie. This word is kind of boring. And it spoke to him. It spoke to my homie. Like, he was like, man, that's super good. And I was like, dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy. And like God showed me there how, even if it's not ministering to me, or even if I think it's boring or getting dragged out, somebody else could be having an amazing experience and a life-changing experience. So even even though those videos, when people are praying, I think some of them are cringy too. It's like you set up the camera and then like that the camera's just sitting there just like
Yeah,
praying,
yeah, yeah.
it there could be somebody that's going through something, and
Absolutely.
they go to that video, and to them it's not cringy, and it speaks to them, and it changes their day, or makes their day better. So it's like we were talking about earlier. It's all about the heart. Like, what is
Absolutely.
about the heart?
The heart condition. What's so funny that you say that? So we had we call it a heart and soul service. It's the first Wednesday of every month. So rather than
Yeah,
having youth, the entire church meets. We'll have like a worship night.
yeah,
And so the theme, so because I ministered and a few other pastors ministered, the theme was the resurrection of Jesus, because it was right after Easter.
yeah.
And the minister goes up there, one of the pastors, and he went completely rogue. Like it had nothing to do what was asked that we talk about. He talked about like discipleship or something. And so the pastor texted me. He's like, "What was asked to be preached?" Because I thought we were talking about the resurrection. Like he's talking about discipleship. And so
Uh,
we kind of laughed. It's like, okay, so he definitely just wasn't really on board with what was supposed to be ministered to. And so after service, we kind of laughed because it was just kind of funny. But then my buddy got ministered to. He's like, man, the Lord has been talking to me about discipleship, and hearing that message really ministered to me. And I was like, and I had a moment. I was like, even if someone quote unquote messes up, the Lord can still use it. And honestly, a part of me feels like he didn't mess up. He was just led of the Lord, and him talking about discipleship needed to happen. And so
Yeah.
I know that the Lord can override man's schedule and minister to the hearts of the people. And so, and you see that all the time at church. Certain aspects of the church minister to other people, and sometimes it doesn't. And that doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're less Christian. That doesn't mean you're less spiritual. Um, but I love that you say that, because certain things minister to other people, and that probably won't minister to me. And so
Yeah.
I know that the Lord can use social media 100%. And I don't want to knock social media. And I love that you said it is all about the heart. It is the heart condition.
Yeah.
Like, why are we producing so much content? Is it because we genuinely believe that this is going to reach people, or are we just prideful? Like, dude, this is awesome, and I'm just really good at what I do, and I'm the best. And I'm not saying that that could be the case to some people, but it's always the heart, man.
Yeah. And it's easy to get caught up. You know what I mean? It's easy to get caught up in like the posting content and staying up to date and staying relevant, because it almost feels like when you're not, like, if you're posting a lot and you're not posting, then it's like you're backsliding in your career, like you're falling back, you're just falling
Mm,
behind while everybody's moving forward. So I don't know. I just kind of changed my mindset with all that stuff, and it's just like I'm gonna work my field. Like when I get my content and everything, I'm gonna work my field, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna make it like everything revolve around that.
yeah. Have you ever had a moment with the Lord? Because I definitely have, where your heart wasn't in the right place and He corrected you when it came to posting content or making music or even like doing shows.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I feel like an artist will be lying. That's like when they get to a certain point, and maybe even not, like maybe at an earlier stage. But I feel like every Christian artist will be lying if they didn't have to battle with something like that. And everybody's battles could be, somebody might be more intense than others. But when you're in a place where you're on a platform and you're doing things and you're producing things that people are like, cheering you on for, or affirming you, or praising what your work and stuff like that, it's so easy to fall into that, and then just be like consuming that, like, oh, that feels good. It feels good to drop a song, and I
Mm,
have all these people commenting how good the song is, and I have all these people liking the comment. I mean, liking the post. So I feel like I said every artist to some extent, I believe, has gone through something like that, where the Lord has had to correct them, and that's
absolutely.
honestly why I do what I do. Like when I take these, because I'll post, and I'll take these breaks, and then I'll kind of just pop up here and there. I'll post some songs here and there,
Yeah.
um, because when I was in the place of I need to post every single day, I need to post. It was like I'm not posting. My heart, when I was posting like that, my heart was not posting, chasing, what God had maybe for this song, or what, that God might use this song to minister to people. It's like, okay, I made this song. I believe it's super good. I need people to hear it. So I'm chasing the algorithm to go viral. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah.
When that's just not where your heart should be at when you're making Christian hip hop. Like your heart should not be chasing God. I've had conversations with a lot of my homies about this,
Mhm.
that are in the music industry. So it's cool to hear different perspectives,
Yeah.
especially with the people that are doing a little bit better when it comes to, like, social media and posting all that stuff.
Hmm.
But like I said, dude, there's people that are posting every single day and that are doing that whole, content thing, and but their hearts are so, like, still super genuine. Their hearts are still super good. So I don't know. I think everybody's like, there's people that are, and maybe my mindset being like, I'm okay with it. Christian rap not being my, full source of income and providing for my family. I feel like it's not the same drive that other people might have when it comes to,
Yeah.
making the music, because they're like, all right, I need to get this, has to work, because
Hmm.
this is what I'm gonna do. But I'm like, I have different, avenues. I don't want
Yeah.
to be a 9 to 5er. That's not gonna happen. I'll promise you that.
Yeah.
I'll promise you that. But I'm very like I have like a very entrepreneurial mindset, to where it's like I'll have music, but then we'll also have the real estate side of things.
Yeah.
Selling paintings at one time.
Right on.
Um,
Like your
so
own
yeah, just doing
personal
like
paintings?
yeah, a whole
Cool,
bunch of.
dude.
I have in 2020 once COVID broke out, I got like really into painting, and
Right on.
it was kind of like 2020 was a rough year for me, but painting
Hmm.
kind of was like a what's the word?
Have you go ahead, sorry.
Nah, you're good. It was kind of just like a release, like when because I was going through a lot of depression and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So painting and my relationship with the Lord was so funky. I just came out of a lot of like crappy situations and
Yeah.
um meaning, I don't know. It was like my mind just I don't believe in ADHD being like a disorder, but like I got like whatever they call it, I got it. So, like I'll
Yeah.
be doing it and then I've been forgetting and stuff. But that was like where I could like lock in,
Yeah.
not focus on it. But yeah, dude, I was this is my I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Pine creation. So
Pine
this is like
creation.
yeah.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
With your phone, you can look it up and you can kind of scroll through there and see what stuff I was painting on there. But I was doing it for a while. I would say I sold like a good 70% of my work when I was doing that.
Right on. Have you seen Jim Carrey's paintings?
I have not no.
Dude, really, really good. I'll send you a link. There's a like a little 10-minute documentary. So for some reason, Jim Carrey just started picking up painting and he's actually really good at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I tried painting too. I tried painting in high school. I would do more like abstract stuff because I couldn't really paint people. Um, I actually started a liking for it because I painted a brick wall. I looked up a tutorial on YouTube how to paint a brick wall, and it actually looked pretty good. And so I
Yeah. Is
kept up with it for a little bit, and then I moved down to Louisiana for a ministry internship, and then I stopped painting. So,
that
but
where you're at now? Is Louisiana?
yeah, so I'm in Texas now. So I came to Louisiana for a ministry internship. I was in the internship for 4 years, and then I started working at the school, which is at the church. So I work at the autism program. And then I met my wife like almost 3 years ago, and then we got married almost a year in June 9th.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm living in Texas. I'm a teacher.